Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center. As you can see by the title and by the thumbnail, today we're going to be breaking down some film from Derrick Henry's game against the Buffalo Bills week 1. So we're going to dive straight into this, man. So watching the Baltimore Ravens offensive line is like watching work at art, like watching art in its purest form. Like the holes and the opportunities and the lanes that this offensive line creates for Derrick Henry is insane. So we're going to take a look at this play right here. You got them. They're lined up in the I formation. You got Lamar Jackson under center. You got the fullback directly. Well, they look like a tight end that was directly behind him. And then you got Derrick Henry dotting off the I. So watch the tight end. The tight end is going to pull and get the edge set right here. He's going to set that guy. Bam. So once he get that guy set, now not Lamar Jackson, but Derrick Henry just pretty much cuts back. So now when he cuts back, look at the defenders that's flowing from the top of the screen, right? That's coming, that looks like the safety in the corner. So once he sets the edge, boom, you got the safeties right there. Look at both of those offensive linemen right there to block both of those guys. And then after that, obviously you get Derrick Henry matched up one-on-one with a guy in the secondary. More times than not, the result of what we got on this play right here is what's going to happen, man. So he just lays out that brutal stiff arm, like that iconic stiff arm he got, pretty much throw him on the ground. And it don't even like he really put that much effort into it, like in terms of stiff arming him. Like he just ran, he just was running towards him, and it's almost like he just stuck his arm out there, and then the defender just fell. Let's take another look at that again. Like it ain't like he put a whole bunch of effort into stiff arming him. I mean, when you got a big 6'3", 200-something pound Derrick Henry coming downhill full speed at you, I think a lot of defenders make business decisions on those plays, and I think this is another one of them plays, man. Let's just take another look at that, and he just was able to throw him into the ground, and after that, it was just a race to the end zone. All right, so right here on this play, man, they got another outside zone they're running. You see the offensive lineman blocking laterally. They're just trying to create some opportunities for Derrick Henry to have some running lanes downhill. So when you run outside zone, it gives you a multitude of things. You can either get downhill immediately, depending on the push that the offensive line is able to get, and depending on how the defense plays it, what type of run fits they're utilizing, or you can utilize just, kind of casually run and then be able to make a cut back up into open lane. So that's the whole point of having that, having your offensive lineman block laterally. And once again, like I say, man, when you look at a lot of these runs that Derrick Henry has, man, and you just look at it and you study it, you say, like, man, don't get me wrong, Derrick Henry's a phenomenal back, and he does a lot, right? He's able to build off of what they give him initially. And what I'm saying is that up front, the offensive line is creating gaps, man. On a lot of these plays, man, it's like they almost pardon the Red Sea, just the NFL position, the NFL version of it. Just all these running lanes that they're giving him. I mean, now on this play right here, now he does a good job at being a maze runner, meaning that he allowed for his blockers to kind of set up. So he was a little hesitant. So, I think that you have to have a balance in terms of being patient and then being aggressive. And then you can't be overly patient, and then you can't be overly aggressive, because if you're overly aggressive, you will be shooting holes and putting yourself in bad positions. And if you're too patient, you will be missing the opportunity to hit these holes and putting yourself in a bad position. So I think it's a good balance. And like they say, like when it comes to, I always use this as an analogy, when it comes to shooting pool, they'll say billiards, depending on how you want to call it. They'll say that a good pool shooter knows his next shot. A great pool shooter knows his next 3 or 4 or 5 shots, whatever it takes to win the game. And I think that comes with being a running back as well. Sometimes you just got to know when to kind of be a little patient. And that's what he does do right here. You see he has a little slight hesitation and just allow for that opening, that little small opening. And by him being a big guy, he does a good job at just being able to get skinny and get to the next level. And then we always talk about what can you do on your own. So originally up front, they got the push, they got the moves, right? So he gets to the second level right here. Boom. That's a missed tackle. He's able to run through the arm tackle and run for an additional, 20, maybe 30 some yards downfield. So like I say, man, it's a balance now. The offensive line does do their job too with creating those opportunities, but then his ability to be able to do things on his own, I call it be able to make the second play better than the first play. He's able to be able to do that. I mean, we seen it on the previous clip with him being able to stiff arm the guy, and then we see it on this clip with him being able to just run through an arm tackle, get the first down, and get some additional yards after contact as well. All right, so right here we got another run from the pistol formation again, man, and just look at this. Look at when he finally is actually touched. I'm talking about like actually really when the person had an actual chance at bringing him down. So he was kind of touched in the backfield, but I mean, those guys never, based off of the leveraging and the blocking, those guys never really had a clean shot at just really being able to get to him. So he's able to run past for the first down, because keep in mind it's a 1st and 10. So it's almost pretty much maybe 12, 13 yards, 14 yards downfield before he finally actually gets touched. like I say, man, the blocking up front is phenomenal, man. These guys do a good job at just playing assignment football, regardless of what it is they're doing, whether they're doing inside zone, whether they're doing outside zone, whether they're doing traps, whether they're pulling guys. Like, they're just very good at doing everything that they do and just executing as a unit, because there's no other way. And then I want to give credit to the receivers as well, man. When you see guys being able to break those runs, especially when you see situations where he only has to make one guy miss in space, that goes to show you that the other guys are accounted for being blocked by the receivers downfield. So it's just a whole this team as a whole offensively are just in sync, very physical at the point of attack in terms of being able to get their blocks to try to create running lanes for their quarterback and for their running back. This play right here just sums up how good that offensive line is for the Baltimore Ravens. So we got another I formation run right here. Pretty much just a power formation, old school football. You got a fullback leading the way. You hand it off to your running back, and you just try to make some things happen. So the tight end, like I say, is very good at identifying the immediate threats, right? So, I think a lot of people always tend to think that, you might want to just jump and climb to the next level to get those guys. But it makes more sense to be able to block the guys that's the closest threat to the ball. See, those guys in the secondary, you can either run through them, you can run past them, or you can run around them. Now, the guys that's closest to you, they can get you before you get going. And obviously, when you're dealing with Derrick Henry, you would much rather get him before he's able to get downhill like this. But the crazy thing about Derrick Henry, too, and it surprises me still at times, is his speed, right? We know the power, we know the size, we see the stiff arms, we see how he handled guys, grown men, by the way. And I feel like so much focus goes on that, on top of just him being a big guy, that we don't really focus enough on his ability to be able to separate from a defense. So he has the option. He's not just an in between the tackles. Like, if you really want to be honest, like, a lot of his runs does come from outside. Now, initially, it might be an outside zone to where he has the option to go outside and inside. But for the most part, if you see a lot of his runs, it'd be him going down the sideline, kind of similar to this play right here. But then just look once again, like I say, he is not touched at all. Look at that. He didn't get touched at the first level. He didn't get touched at the second level. He didn't get touched at the third level. So he just was able to get downhill and just outrun the guys based off of leverage and where they positioned and where they was at. He was just able to take advantage of it, like right here. And keep in mind, even though linebackers in today's game are so much more faster, so much more athletic, so they can move so much quicker laterally, even though sometimes I wouldn't say it's not impressive, but it's like, okay, you outrun a linebacker. It's like, okay, I can see it. I get it. But when you have a guy that's as big as him, that's outrunning skilled players like corners and safeties, guys who are typically some of the faster guys on the field, and he's able to run past them, that just showcases his speed and his, I think, though, a lot of it, I think, too, is his acceleration, is that he's able to just get downhill and get going so fast that once he finally, kind of might start to slow down at that point based off his acceleration and his burst, he's already so far out ahead of you, or he already has steps on you that you just never really be able to catch up, even if he starts to kind of gas out, or even if he kind of starts to slow down. But I know that they end up losing this game. Obviously, I know a big part of it was him fumbling the ball. And if you know me, I always talk about ball security, man. Ball security is job security. Like Coach Belichick say, when you get the ball, when they hand the ball off to you, when they design a play for you to get the ball, and the quarterback hands that ball off to you, the fate of the organization and the fate of that game is in your hands. And I know that they was able to get him. They was able to force a fumble, which is kind of surprising because, like I always say, like even in my long film I did breaking him down, I was talking about how he always runs high and tight. He keeps the ball high and tight and keep that thing tucked, and is good at finishing upon contact, lowering his shoulder pads so they don't have all three points at the ball, checkpoints at the ball to be able to try to punch it out, rip it out, etc. I know they got him, and that's kind of uncharacteristic of him. But that doesn't take away from the dominance that he has reigned over Buffalo, not just this year but last year as well. So these are two teams that in the future, man, going into the playoffs, that it's a possibility that we will see a rematch on this, and I'm just kind of interested to see how that thing goes. But man, if you guys did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. When you subscribe, make sure that you got that notification bell turned on. And if it's not, go turn it on. That way you'll be notified every time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.